It's insane. Like
Freddie Mercury meets Michael Jackson.
Man.
All right, it's Friday, May 20th, 2016, and you're listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. I'm Brittany.
I'm Kyle.
I'm Ray.
We are three coworkers who enjoy pro wrestling, and this podcast gives us a space to shoot on all of the aspects of our favorite pastime without the confused looks we get from the rest of the office.
This podcast is all about giving you consistent, bite-sized commentary on the world of wrestling, focused primarily on WWE's main roster and NXT, though we'll occasionally touch on the indies and the international scene.
Every week, we'll either recap the previous week's Raw, NXT, pay-per-view, takeover, whatever, or we'll hold a roundtable discussion on a particular topic. This week, we're going to recap our experience at NXT Live in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first time NXT has been in Seattle.
Correct.
And it was unbelievable.
I mean, let's be real. It's rare that we get, like, a good Raw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then ever since the whole Dan O'Brien thing happened, they've started to get better about it.
Yeah.
But, like, we'll get one a year, maybe. Like, last year was a complete fluke, because we had the one in Everett in February, and then we had the one later
Other way
on.
around.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, and then on top of that, they did this at the Paramount.
Yeah.
Which, for people who aren't familiar
That's
with
where
the
I was gonna
venue,
go. Yeah.
is like a standard theater.
Yeah.
Like, you've got the floor seating, you've got the balcony seating, you've got all that. Like, they had the ring up on a stage.
Yeah, which is a very unique experience because for the most part, if you ever go to a WWE live event, or even watch it from TV, you're essentially looking down at the wrestlers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas in this instance, you're actually like in a spot where you're looking up, unless you're in the balcony.
Yeah, we were on the floor.
Yeah.
Right, and, you know, the best part about it was just, like, everybody sat down and we could watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
There was
really
no
cool.
standing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody would stand for kind of the end of matches and the entrances,
yeah.
but, like, you didn't have to worry about...
Out of respect.
Yeah, and...
You weren't going to miss anything, you know?
I don't think... Were signs banned? I mean, there definitely weren't a lot of signs.
There weren't a lot
weren't.
of signs.
There
I mean,
weren't.
it kind of doesn't make sense to make signs.
Yeah.
They're not going to be on TV.
Yeah, no TV, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Well, it turns out they were sort of filming some stuff, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think they mostly just filmed stuff for, like, the internet. And
Yeah.
various clips, like WWE.com exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing that flashed once or twice. But yeah, it was super cool.
Awesome
Seeing experience.
crowd.
Like, they really did a good job framing it for the arena. You know,
Yes.
it's like fourth wall
It
style.
felt like a really good experience. It was a very tailored experience
Yeah.
for the Seattle crowd, for a small arena. Really just felt really good.
Yeah, it was good. And
We had a
speaking-
friend who went, and he's not necessarily like a big wrestling fan, but he
yeah.
just happened to have tickets kind of like up in one of the upper balcony areas, and he loved it because he saw everything from the top down.
Oh, yeah, it's
So
gotta be
all
great.
of the entrances, all of the crazy like outside of the ring bullshit that was happening, like he saw everything and he loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was overall one of the best live wrestling shows I've been to. Like, as far as house shows are concerned, like, this was a no-brainer.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was
Yep.
great.
Yeah, the one thing that I do want to call out is, 3-2-1 Battle was out there.
Yes, in
Oh, yeah.
full force.
In full force, and the fans were out there, and so, when Cody Whistler was on the mic, oh my god.
Pretty good, yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, solid steel.
Solid steel.
Call out to the fans, which was good, and Tom is looking at him like, what? 'Cause he's
Tom's
asking him,
gonna
like,
see.
who do you think's going to win? What match is going to happen? What do you want to see?
Yeah.
Champion versus champion type stuff. And he just says, solid steel.
And the
Solid.
whole crowd, yeah.
Yeah.
Solid steel. It sounded like the whole
It felt
crowd.
like it, yeah.
We were all real excited. But then the shout out to Alexa Bliss.
Yep, which
really
I
love
also
that.
liked. That was
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Should we get into the card?
Yeah, we should get into the card. So
All
we
right.
got to see, first match was No Way Jose versus Murphy. Not Murphy and, who's
Blake.
his next? Blake.
Yeah.
I
So
never
no
remember
Blake.
which one's which.
Yeah. So yeah, No Way Jose. They debuted this character on NXT maybe a few weeks ago. I'm slowly but surely like getting into the character, but honestly,
I loved him since day one.
Yeah,
I don't know your problem, Ray.
My problem is his original finishing maneuver was the fastball pitch, and that's a terrible. First of all, a terrible finishing maneuver. And come on, he's a He's Dominican, and you gave him baseball moves.
Hey, they have control over their own characters in NXT, my friend. And also, like,
On the flip
how
side,
many...
at least it's not like American pastime and like we're faking like Americans are better. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
proper respect.
Yeah.
On top of that, like, you can say it's a dumb finishing move, but how many people have, like, an elbow drop as their finishing move?
Or a punch, some sort of Superman type.
To that
style
end,
punch.
though, he did the baseball pitch and then another move.
He has a new move,
Yeah.
and then I'm totally like, it feels a little bit better. He does have a lot of good instincts as far as interacting with the crowd.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
Yes.
very good about that. So little
The
by
dance
little,
off. There was a dance off attempted.
Yeah.
He did his portion, and then Murphy, beat on him when it was Murphy's turn.
Yeah.
So.
but it was a good match. It was a good start.
Yeah, he did good. He did a lot of pandering to the crowd. He had a
Yes.
Russell Wilson jersey.
Yeah, so he came out in
Cheap pop.
his...
Yeah.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
cheap pop, but a nice way to open the show.
Yeah.
I mean, you know your audience, right?
Yep.
Yep.
But he comes out in his standard, like, white gear, but the pants have kind of the neon green and dark blue Seahawks colors on the side. So I'm like, oh, that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
And then the jersey's on there, and he does the whole Seahawks chant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah, it's a good hype man kind of
Yeah.
situation. So
Yeah,
I can appreciate that.
really
for
good
sure.
way to open the show for that kind of crowd.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The crowd was loud, cheering him, doing the Jose chants and
Yeah.
all that
Yep.
stuff.
I
So
do
it was
like that
good.
they've taken like the soccer chant that
Yeah.
became the Sami Zayn chant.
Yeah,
that is
the
now
Olay
Noah-
chant. Yeah,
is now the Jose
yeah.
chant.
Yeah,
Like,
Super good.
that was
I really
nice.
love that.
So next up, Mr. Butt Muscles himself.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah,
so,
no.
so Tino Sabatelli, who we have seen from Breaking Ground on
Yes.
the WWE Network, up against Tucker Knight,
Yeah.
who is the reason that Bull Dempsey probably doesn't have a job.
Yeah, I like
Because-
to call him Bull Fitter.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like to think that he looks like if Andrew WK and Bull Dempsey had a baby.
Yeah,
Mm.
which is a weird picture to paint.
It's a weird baby.
I
But
bring
yeah,
up the butt muscle thing because Brittany turns to me and tells me, "Oh, you got to see the butt muscles in this guy," and I'm like, "Oh,
no, I
whatever."
particularly said like you can't unsee the butt muscles.
And
you
so-
cannot. I will never be able to unsee
He
those
comes
butt
out,
muscles.
and then we're talking about it for like
It's
2
weird.
minutes, and then Steve turns to us and says, "Hey, you guys, there's a match going on."
We're just talking about like the butt muscles constantly.
Yeah.
Because when you see this guy wrestle, it's like he is very cut. He takes his role seriously, and
Yeah.
we saw that on the show as
Real
well.
Mr. Fitness.
Yeah, no, literally, like this guy kind of needs to skip leg day. It's a little bit
Yeah,
over
it's-
the top.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have their match. The one thing that's a little weird with Tino's angle is like his music and the video and stuff. I know they're still sorting him out, but it's kind of like this fat stacks, like he's a rich guy thing while
Yeah,
he's trying to
All
be a
this
good guy.
Porsches.
Yeah, so
Yeah, how do you play that as a face? Like that is a heel gimmick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That, like his whole thing is that he's like the total
Better
package,
than everybody.
right?
Yeah.
Like they covered that on Breaking Ground, and I remember Ty Dillinger's like, dude, I hate you. I just look at you and I want to hate you.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I just assumed he would be a heel, but he's apparently a face.
Yeah, that doesn't work. It
It's like-
really does not work.
It doesn't.
No one can relate to you. Like again, like it's just a really wrong. It's the wrong gimmick.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I feel like what's going to happen is he'll end up doing well enough that he'll be on TV, and then we'll see kind of what happens from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he doesn't get picked up right away, like we'll talk about it a bit probably, but like Elias Sampson when he came out, I'm pretty certain he was supposed to be a face.
Yeah.
But because he gets so much heat, that's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, we'll get to that because he does do a good job of getting that heat.
Yeah. But Tino and Tucker, I got to see Tucker Knight wrestle a bit at WrestleMania during
Yep.
Access. So he's pretty good, decent
Yeah,
wrestler.
I liked him. I liked him a lot. He seemed very,
good,
very
yeah.
competent as a wrestler.
Yeah, so I feel like he's probably doing a lot of house shows at this point, and it's just a matter of time before he shows up on TV.
Yep. So the next match was Bailey versus Alexa Bliss.
Ah,
I
yes.
love this match. Well, I love both competitors.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss, man, she is just doing so well as a heel.
Oh, yeah.
And her in-ring stuff is getting better all the time.
Yep.
And Bailey is just Bailey and just really just the John Cena that we all want her to be, which is oh man,
I know what you mean by that.
yeah,
Yes.
like not saying that she is John Cena, but
Right.
more of a like the underdog character.
The John Cena I want to root for.
Yes.
She's
Not the
the
John Cena I have to
believable,
root for.
The
like
believable
you said
John-
it before, the believable version of John Cena.
Yes.
Right? Because of the stature, the road to get there,
The
all
bright
that stuff.
colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hugging,
oh, man.
the
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah,
the
it's
cross-generational
I gotta say, like,
heel.
Bailey, like, the I'm a Hugger shirt, I love it. I am scared to wear it ever. Like, I can't, like, just from walking around the city, I feel like I can only wear it at a wrestling show.
Oh, yeah. Like, I
Right?
wore it once to Safeway just because it was the first thing in my stack of t-shirts, and I put it on, and someone's like, oh my God, that's such a brilliant shirt. You're a hugger. And clearly they had no idea that it was a wrestling reference, and it became really awkward.
Yeah,
So it's like,
like-
I feel like I can't wear it unless I'm at a wrestling show.
I feel like there's some people out there that take that as invitation to touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not cool.
Right.
But I love the shirt, and I love her message. So.
I will say this, like, when wearing any sort of wrestling shirt and you have somebody that you see with a similar wrestling shirt or
That's a good moment.
It's a great moment
Yeah.
because, like, I was wearing an Elite Bullet Club shirt.
Yes.
And, like, everybody that was wearing Bullet Club gear, like, it was just, like, an awesome experience with everybody. And I saw that with people who are wearing similar Bailey shirts.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like a different, like, I don't want to wear this anywhere else. But when I wear this at a wrestling show, it feels really freaking good.
Didn't you try and have to, like, explain it to a coworker who saw your shirt? And you're just like, I
can't.
It's too hard.
It's a playoff of another wrestling shirt that also doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's super meta.
Like,
I mean, like, I got to do my favorite thing where, like, you're walking down the street over to the arena and you see someone in a New Day shirt and you're just... And then suddenly there's just 10 people all clapping.
Oh, yeah.
The same.
It was funny
It's so
because
amazing.
that group of friends we were walking by, like, they were all like, slapping that dude, like, dude, she's like setting you up, and then you had to like get, and then next thing you know, it was like 10 of us are doing it.
Yep.
It was pretty great. So Austin Aries, Mojo Rawley.
Yeah. So was he hype? Did he get hype?
So he was hype.
This
but
was amazing.
He was
Like-
also heel.
This was amazing.
Yeah, oh my God, I like Mojo heel.
Yes.
Mojo heel's amazing.
Okay, yeah. There was no Zack Ryder.
gyrating. There was so much gyrating, my God.
Oh man,
Like the match moved really slow, but because people were into both of them, like it was kind of okay. Like if it was any other wrestlers, there'd probably be a lot more like complaining and booing.
So to backtrack, when Tom Phillips was walking around the arena before the show and is asking people like, who do you think is next up for WWE or for NXT champion, and he asked somebody who's sitting in the front row near the ring. It's someone I see at 321 shows pretty frequently, but he says Mojo Rawley and just gets mad heat.
Boos.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Like everybody
Oh, he did
apparently
on
hates
purpose.
Mojo.
He was like kind of like giving the bring it like
Bring it, give
everybody.
me the heat, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was interesting, like how visceral the reaction was right away.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just like a meh, like nobody cares. It was
Yeah.
like people apparently really hate Mojo, and I had no idea because I love him. I think that that's a hilarious character gimmick,
Yeah,
right?
and it was
Yeah.
great
It's
that
not
they paired them
offensive.
together.
It's like someone making fun of themselves for being a crazy bro who just likes to party all the time.
Yeah.
It's a very self-aware version of that person.
I've been waiting for the hype bros to go heel for a long time, and like because I think that the gimmick works better as a heel. Because they're bros and they it's that anti-villain gimmick of like they're just so hype and so like we're just trying to have a good time, bro.
We're on the Heels Wrestling Podcast, but we can't have everyone turn heel. man.
Right.
Like,
Man,
So
I can hope and wish.
I actually read this situation completely differently. I don't think it's necessarily Mojo becoming a heel. I think it may just be a one-off thing. I think
Playing
because
to
Zack
the crowd?
Ryder...
Probably.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it was playing to the crowd. I think Zack Ryder wasn't there. I think that because it's a house show and it's not recorded and doesn't actually play to any of the existing storylines,
Yep.
he can do whatever he wants.
And he's going up against one of the new darlings in Austin Aries.
Yeah, Austin
so
Aries,
you
who
kind of you're in
eats his
a rough
bananas
spot,
because
right?
he needs his potassium.
Yeah.
There's not enough heels right now in NXT in general.
Right.
So, like,
No.
he had to play it up, and he did an amazing
Lots
job.
and lots of
Oh, my
gyrating.
God. Those gyrations were hype.
The funny thing is, like, their best heels are on tag teams, and you can't tell who's who.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, we need to eventually build up those individual characters
They're
and let
great.
them do their thing.
But, they looked too similar to their tag team partners. It's
Yeah.
like, oh.
The fact that there are two different chants, the which one's Murphy, which
Which
one's
one's
Blake,
Blake?
and then the other one is
Which one's Dawson? Which one's Dash?
Like, this is a reoccurring issue and needs to be addressed pretty soon.
Yeah. It's a Jimmy and Jay. Like, come on, man.
I don't know.
So, yeah, that match, like, was this okay? Like, whatever.
It was good.
It was
I mean,
good.
It was standard okay. Just,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
kind of
I
I was losing my
okay.
buzz at
It
this
was
point.
it was
Yeah.
entertaining. Yeah. Oh, I was for the first half of NXT, I was very drunk.
We drank a lot.
We hit up the
Happy hour.
Long Island iced teas at the
Yes.
Cheesecake Factory.
That was awesome.
I just
That
had
was
just whiskey.
$5.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're sitting there with your whiskey all classy, and I'm just like, give me more Long Islands.
Dude, yeah, Long Island sit down, unplanned co-Long Islanding.
Oh, I'm so excited. Here we go.
Yeah, all right, yep, let's do it. Let's talk about the fucking...
Match of the
match?
night.
Yeah, best match. Thank you. American Alpha beats Revival. That match was so good. And they also, one thing they kept doing was hinting that, they kept saying, hey, Samoa Joe won at NXT Lowell. Anything could happen
this
at
was for the
NXT
title.
Live.
Yes.
So they kept saying, and it was a title match, but they also kept saying anything can happen, reminding you that anything can happen.
Yeah.
That was great.
In the old days house shows, it was like you'd have a championship match all the time, but it would be the same exact result all over the place.
Yeah,
Because it didn't matter.
Honestly, once every 10 years, a house match would have like a different ending.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Nash winning it from Bob Backlund
Right.
was like the first time that's ever happened.
So this was like, it felt to me like Revival could have won him back.
Yeah, it
and
felt,
then
it
maybe
was
they could have
exciting.
another house show where Alpha got it back or whatever.
Yeah.
But this was.
It was super
legitimate.
exciting.
I don't know what's going to happen, and the match is great.
There was a lot of near falls.
Yes.
Falls.
The match went way longer than I thought it did, and I was so happy it did.
One thing I thought was cool about that match was Jason Jordan's usual power-up maneuver, the removal of the singlet,
Yeah.
happened, but then many of the near falls that happened negated that finishing it. So then when the time came for him to actually go through and win again, he put his straps back up and then took the singlet straps back off to execute
Yes.
the move.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was amazing.
Which,
Yeah.
everyone noticed and loved. It was
Yeah,
great.
it was like he went back into his final form. It was really, really
Yeah.
weird.
The Super Saiyan form.
It was awesome,
Super
though,
Saiyan.
yeah.
Super Saiyan squared.
Yeah, a ton of near falls, but overall, the best match of the night, man. It just killed
Absolutely great.
it. It was better than, we were saying, it was better than most pay-per-view matches.
Yeah.
It was a long match.
It was a long match, but they're just so good, and they've wrestled against each other now so much that they've just got it down.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well, and the assumption is that those guys are wrestling at other house shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of that, we saw a rematch at NXT Access WrestleMania weekend the night after NXT Dallas.
Right.
Yeah.
It was those guys again. So these two groups have been wrestling constantly with each other.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
have
starting
great
to show
chemistry.
amazing chemistry.
It's going to be sad when that feud ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but knowing Jordan and Gable, only greater things are coming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, both will go on to really good things, but
Yeah.
this is just one of those great rivalries where you could go back and watch the matches for the wrestling and for the storytelling. It's super good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, one thing that we got that was a really awesome treat was, William Ringo showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, him coming out, and he just came out to essentially thank the Seattle crowd for their support of NXT and WWE, really didn't have to happen.
No, it didn't.
The fact that he, took time to actually come to a house show that's not taped.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was genuine, and the crowd ate it up, and it was awesome.
Well, he had a great pop coming out there, and then he interrupted us all to say, the true applause goes to the people in the back, which is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then gave us, the heartfelt thank you, and it's kind of like we've been saying, they're starting to really lean into Seattle as a wrestling hotbed.
Yeah.
So it's rarely do we ever get more than one Raw.
Yeah.
We got two the last time they were in
that was
last
rare.
year, and it was super, super rare.
Yeah.
We got one in Everett, we got one in Seattle. So the fact that they're now coming here multiple times a year, there's the whole Daniel Bryan thing. This very memorable moment with Daniel Bryan retiring is 100% associated with Seattle just because of him and where it happened.
Yeah.
Now you've got No Way Jose doing his whole Seattle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seattle fans are historically known for being loud. They
Yeah.
talk about it constantly on NFL games.
Yep.
So they're fully embracing us as a community
Yep.
and us as a community of wrestling fans and us just instantly eating this up.
It's great. I think it's super smart by them, and I think they're doing it. They're aware they're doing it, and they're just doing it the right way. It's not by accident, or it's to them some one-off.
They're not pandering.
Yeah.
It's very much genuine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it too is I think WWE is generally, as far as the direction, they're tired of muting out the crowd,
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's painful for not only for the wrestlers that are in the ring, but it's also they don't want to hide that the crowd is actually into it, regardless of if they're happy about what's going on in the ring at that moment. It's they're starting to just accept that the crowd has a voice and it's important.
They're getting really good, the talent too, across the board. Even Roman at ad-libbing a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's important.
We kind of joked before the podcast about Raw there are some Rollins chants going, and there's an example of Charlotte doing it a couple of Raws ago too, where they just acknowledge a crowd and go right back to their thing.
Yeah.
And that's the way you deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's super good.
It's a pro Cena move.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, now we get to some real good stuff here.
Oh my goodness.
Shinsuke Nakamura versus Elias Sampson. We got to see the greatest wrestler in the world, though Brittany's already seen him like 3 times.
The Drifter.
This is my 3rd time.
Yeah.
Kind of.
What did I say?
No, I said the Drifter.
Oh, you're the Drifter?
Yeah, no, not the greatest wrestler.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Nakamura.
And
yeah.
the Drifter.
Yeah, so we, Ray and I have been patiently waiting for this. Jealous of Brittany. Was it your brother that said he hates Brittany?
Yeah.
Because she's got to see all the good wrestlers?
Yeah, you basically have gotten to see...
I don't care.
But yeah,
I will
it's
take all the heat.
But it's his presence. Like, when... First of all, I think you were saying how much you loved Elias Sampson getting all that heat.
Oh, yeah. Samson, like, I got to give him props. He's found a way to lean into this. What could otherwise be a corny-ass yet another wrestler with a guitar thing, Yeah. At least he's not using it as a weapon at all times. But yeah, no, he was ad-libbing the songs, making fun of the crowd.
Oh, yeah, it was
getting
great.
booed out the building.
Saying the city was complete shit.
Oh, yeah,
It was awesome. Like, and I think...
Especially right after Regal says the city is awesome.
Yeah. He comes in there, he's like, you're not that good.
Yep. It was great. So, like, he comes out and, he does his whole shtick, and then all of a sudden, like, you see, like, the entrance video start to play, and it's just like...
The green guitar riff.
I got
Nakamura
goosebumps, man. Like... And that guy has so much damn charisma.
Yeah, he actually is oozing machismo.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
fuck it all the way. That
It's
guy,
crazy.
It's so good.
The match itself,
I was not necessarily a fan.
Yeah.
Like, so the quality of the wrestling was great, but Nakamura basically just got his ass beat the entire time.
Yeah.
Up until about the last 2-3 minutes, where he started ramping up and actually doing his moveset, leading up into the knee,
It
and then
kind of
eventually
reminded
winning
me
the match.
of like a Daniel Bryan match in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you get your ass beat and then knee that dude in the face.
Nakamura and Daniel Bryan used to be roommates.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
in his book.
Yep.
But yeah, it was well done, at least in terms of like booking, I think, because no one's ever gonna get upset that Samson was gonna lose. Right? We all were there to see Nakamura win.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Except
Samson
that one
kinda,
person. There's that one person.
Actually, he was seated like about a row down and 10 seats over.
Yeah.
He was leaning hard into the I'm the one Drifter fan thing.
Yeah.
But he was getting drowned out. But yeah, like no one was gonna cry over that spilled milk on the Drifter's behalf. So
also seeing that knee live.
Oh man.
Like that knee is incredible. Like it's so freaking precise. Like he hits it and it looks so devastating, and like the level of precision of doing that move without like completely knocking out the guy
or caving in his face.
Yeah,
like
pretty
John
much.
Cena,
Because if you don't hit that perfectly, there's going to be an injury.
Yes.
Yep.
Either to his knee or to somebody's face, whatever. But
at least you get a T-shirt out of it for a month. So.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right, let's move on then to Asuka and Nia Jax.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this match for a while.
This was awesome.
She being Nia Jax, was surprisingly impressive. Like, she's evolved,
She's gotten much better in the last few months since when she debuted on NXT.
Yeah, when she debuted on NXT, she's been just basically this squash beast and, very much a wall. And, and then now she's moved on to be basically a bodyguard, and now without kind of Dana Brooke there, it's now she has a chance to step up the character a little bit.
Yeah.
And that to me is really, really important. And so she was able and given the opportunity to kind of do some more stuff, and that especially with Asuka.
Yeah.
It showed really well. So.
And Asuka was great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Asuka's always great. Man,
you're not biased at all.
No, she's not.
Not
she's
biased
not.
whatsoever.
Oh man, the day that Asuka has to fight. Not Charlotte.
Sasha.
So, oh my god, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, that's gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. We'll be there for you, buddy.
Yeah,
it's
okay. I'll hug you when it's all done, because I know we'll be sad either way. So something to touch on during this. So anytime that there's a match for the belt, they do this whole this is for the NXT Women's Championship, and then they show the belt
on the screen,
up on the screen, and Kyle and I are sitting there looking at each other like, this shit's really pink.
Yeah.
And like previously, the title belt used to be held as this like awesome example because you'd compare it to the Divas Butterfly belt,
Yeah.
and it looked awful. But now you've got this classy red-white women's championship belt, and it makes the NXT one look super dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like, I want to rock that women's title. Like, that women's title looks freaking
And
good.
it also just looks inconsistent with the rest of the belts. Like
Yeah.
everything is gigantic gold and black with an
Yeah.
X of some kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the women's just doesn't follow the color scheme. It doesn't follow the shape language. It's like, it's so...
Yeah, it's like...
The belt that, like, 6 months ago I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
And
now just
it's-
kind of like, it's gross.
Yeah.
And they did the, like, the little diamond...
Yeah.
Like, when everything's kind of flying in.
Sparkles.
Well, you know, the evolution continues. Hopefully, it gets to that.
I feel
to
like
that
they'll
belt.
change it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
change
think,
it.
yeah, I think it'll definitely get changed. But going back to the match, it was a great match, and then got interfered by Alexa Bliss,
Yes.
which, man, I love me some Alexa Bliss. And then Bayley came out to save Asuka.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was great. That was awesome.
Yeah, they were able to complete the friendship, respect, handshake, hug,
Yes.
which is like foreshadowing maybe to other things in the night. But
it's like 4 words strung together. Friendship. Can you say that again?
yeah,
and
that
I
was
don't even know
awesome.
if I can remember.
Yeah.
Friendship, respect, handshake, hug. Is that it? I
Yes,
think that's
that's
it.
it. That's it.
That's
Sweet.
awesome.
We gotta work
I'm
on
gonna
that in
use
the
that
workplace.
forever.
Hashtag.
Yeah, that's how business is done, I guess. That's what's best for business, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
So, the thing that drove a lot of business was probably the main
The
event.
main event.
I don't know, not my best segue, but it works. Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor. And the one thing Ray said, he kind of hung his head on his man, I just want to see a match end clean.
Yeah, I really, they were again teasing again that title could change hands.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
We've
yeah.
seen it before, and so
Anything could happen.
anything can happen. And so for me, like this being a title match, I just want it to end clean. I don't
Yeah.
care who wins.
Right.
Just end like with some real finality. Not necessarily like ending the the rivalry, but just like feeling like a really clean win. And so Joe in this amazing match
Yeah.
with Finn Balor, really strong match. Joe beats him clean.
Yeah.
And it was
awesome.
It was great. Finn Balor, that dude is in insane shape.
85 abs.
Yeah. And then Joe can just go, like, he has such like really great like stamina, and just
Yeah.
like he can just go forever.
Yeah, it's quite like a, body frame wise, like their juxtaposition. Like, because Joe, he's kind of got like a barroom brawler kind of look to him, right?
Yeah.
But he can go, just as hard in the paint as Finn.
Yeah.
And man, that
He's
guy,
fast.
like, he is mean, he is angry, he's sweaty, and he looks like he's ready to like F stuff up.
Yeah.
And he does. And so it's like they put on great matches. Like, we kind of are so used to and spoiled by their matches being good. Like, there's not much more we can really say. I mean, it was a solid, awesome match.
Yeah.
And it ended clean. And the, what was it? Friendship,
Respect.
handshake hug.
Yeah.
Was extended, right?
Yeah.
And it was in this moment that Joe decided, you know what, he doesn't give a crap about any of that. Tries to pull the fast one on Finn.
Yep.
Finn reverses it, gives him the coup de grace, so Finn gets to have the moral victory of my song plays last.
Yeah.
And it was at this moment that Ray booked it to the back of the theater so he could actually hand out flyers for this very podcast.
Yep.
Good guy, Ray.
But it was pretty great. Like, the crowd was, I wouldn't say it was 50-50, but it was definitely like a 55-45
45,
split.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of a lean towards Finn, but Joe chants happened just as much.
And there was
Great.
a lot of Bullet Club references. Like,
Oh, yeah.
from Tom Phillips. Like,
Yeah, that was awesome. Like,
there was a lot of Too Sweeting. There was
Yeah.
a lot of woo. Like there was just everything. It
Yeah.
was kind of crazy how much they're leaning into it. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they've got the whole club on the main roster, or if it's because it's a house show and it's not really being recorded,
can
and
do whatever
Mojo
they
can be
want.
a giant heel, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's kind of like why are they really leaning into it? And it's going to be really interesting to watch the next couple weeks of NXT to see what happens with Finn Balor now that he's not the champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to say.
Yeah, overall, I felt like the show was extremely well presented to the Seattle crowd.
Yep.
I think they did a really great job as far as really building up a almost pay-per-view level event, and it felt really good.
It was
felt-
excellent.
Yeah, it
All
felt-
around.
Yeah. So
And that's not just the Long Island's talking.
Wow, you read my mind.
I know, right?
That was going to be my quip. Cool. Yeah, so then, no extra thoughts on your behalf?
No, I mean, the show is absolutely incredible. I would go to it again in a heartbeat, not just because I'm a biased NXT fan, but because even as someone who may not have been a wrestling fan, I feel like the show was laid out in a way that would have been entertaining.
Yeah, it was super awesome. We all enjoyed the presence of 3-2-1 Battle being there.
Yes!
Oh, man, that
we
was
saw a lot
dope.
of those guys, and it led to some more sort of vibrant chants, as we referenced before. But it was a great show. I hope it happens again soon. I'd love to go there. Paramount was a cool place to watch wrestling.
I want to see more wrestling at the Paramount.
Yeah, that was
It
great.
can be done. I thought only basketball arenas and whatnot, but apparently you can have old school classic theaters be wrestling arenas as well, and it works perfectly fine. It was amazing.
I can't stress enough how cool it was to just be able to watch a show and not be blocked and just take it all in. So that's gonna wrap it up for this week. If you like the podcast,
Like Cole Crazy.
like Cole Crazy,
Yeah.
shout out to that guy
Yeah.
who made Ray's day, and Eddie Van Glam.
Eddie Van Glam.
Huge fans of the podcast. Thank you guys. Really appreciate
Yeah,
all your
man.
love.
Thanks for the love.
Yeah, so if you could find us on Twitter if you're like those guys, or if you know some people that know people. But we're at On the Heels WP, and on Facebook.com/OnTheHeelsWP. We are also on iTunes, where you can find past episodes, subscribe to future episodes, and potentially give us a nice rating.
Yeah, so, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment on the iTunes store, and give us that 5-star rating so that people can find us and tell your wrestling buddies about the podcast. Feel free to tweet or message us random wrestling stuff. We will try to respond to you in a timely manner. We all gotta work.
We also love topic suggestions.
Yeah.
There's lots of stuff that we clearly like to talk about outside of just let's recap Raw. So if you've got ideas, we'd love to hear it.
Yep.
So thanks for listening to On the Heels Wrestling Podcast. Tune in to our next episode where we'll have a roundtable discussion that we were supposed to have weeks ago.
Oh my God.
About the death of kayfabe, which
yeah.
now I can
my
only
God.
think of Fitness's tattoo. Anytime kayfabe.
Yeah.
had a family.
But I'm okay with that.
Kayfabe has been broken in half.
Broken in half. And then after that, we'll ask the eternal question.
Mm-hmm.
How long will they keep Nakamura in NXT?
I don't think he'll even get the NXT title before he moves up to Raw.
Man, Ray
SummerSlam.
just right into it. Brittany with the prediction.
SummerSlam.
I'm going to agree with Brittany. I'm going to say SummerSlam.
Of course you are.
Yep.
Wow.
Because,
I'm right.
Man, this
sometimes.
is
I'm always
actually
right.
a hard
Not
one.
always.
I don't know.
Ray always wants me to be right.
I want you to be right. That's true. I want you to be right. That doesn't mean that you are right.
Could be Monday. Could be Monday. Who knows? Like wrestling.
Wrestling.
Elimination Chamber, if it happens.